loser when during the primary system. During the Democrat primary system, she was the first one to quit. She had no votes, no support, and she was a bad debater, by the way, very bad debater. And that's not the thing I'm looking forward to, but she was a bad debater. She did obviously a bad job. She never made it to Iowa. Then for some reason, and I know he regrets it, you do too, he picked her, and she turned on him too. She was working with the people that wanted him out. But the fact that you can get no votes, lose in the primary system, in other words, you had 14 or 15 people, she was the first one out, and that you can then be picked to run for president, it seems to me actually unconstitutional. Perhaps it's not. Please.
So we can't hear the questions being asked. I'll just take this opportunity to let you know we are now driving through a little town.
So I've run against Hillary, and I've run against various other people. I would say that in terms of intelligence, Hillary was far superior. I would say that. Hillary was smart. She was her own worst enemy in many ways, but she was smart, very smart. Okay? If you ask me to compare them, please. Would you repeat that question, please? You have to speak up. It's a hard room because it's very big, if you know.
President Trump's doing a press conference, if you didn't know that. This isn't live. I recorded it, but I wanted to hear it. So I thought you might like to see what it's like to drive down the A1A Florida coast.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hear
So I think
President
the abortion
Trump.
issue has been very much tempered down. And I've answered, I think, very well in the debate. And it seems to be much less of an issue, especially for those where they have the exceptions.
Hi, Ginger.
As you know. And I think it's when I look for 52 years, they wanted to bring abortion back to the states. They wanted to get rid of Roe v. Wade. And that's Democrats, Republicans, and independents, and everybody. Liberals, conservatives, everybody wanted it back in the states. And I did that. Now the states are voting. And frankly, some of the votes are much more, if you could say, liberal than you would think. Ohio turned out to be, they had a big vote, and it turned out to be a much more liberal standing than people would have thought. Kansas, the same thing. And then you have Texas, and you have other places where it may be different. But the issue has been brought back to the states now. And like Ronald Reagan, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly. I think that that's a very important thing. I think when you have to follow your heart. But when you don't believe in the exceptions, I think it's much tougher. It's a much tougher issue. But about 82% of Republicans do believe in exceptions. I think and a lot of them are changing their mind and coming even further. I think that abortion has become much less of an issue. It's a very small, I think it's actually going to be a very small issue. What I've done is I've done what every Democrat and every Republican wanted.
The car in front of me is from Quebec.
And now the states are voting on it. And frankly, some of the votes are a lot different than people would have thought. But it's the vote of the people is taking care of it. And, when you think about the radical...
We're entering Hillsborough Beach.
The Democrats are really the radical ones on this because they're allowed to do abortion on the 8th and 9th month and even after birth. If you look at your new governor from Minnesota, he's like the governor previous, the former governor. I don't want to get him mixed up because Glenn is doing a good job and he's leading our whole campaign in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. But previous to Glenn, the governor, he said the baby will be born, we will put the baby aside and we will decide with the mother what we're going to do. In other words, whether or not we're going to kill the baby. The Minnesota gentleman, this guy agrees with that. He is the most liberal. Look, between her and him, there's never been anything like this. There's never been a combination. So I'll use the word progressive. They want to go progressive. They don't like the word liberal. I like liberal better. I think it's more appropriate. because nobody knows what progressive means.
Mhm.
But they now like to use the word progressive.
True.
But there's certainly never been anybody so liberal like these two, or close. I think the abortion issue has been taken down many notches. I don't think it's a big factor anymore, really. And when people hear what I said in the debate, and I think I said it very well during the debate, we brought it back to the states. Everybody wanted it in the states. And very importantly, and you think about this, assuming you have exceptions. If you don't have exceptions, it's a more difficult thing. At the same time, there are people that strongly feel that way, and you have to follow your heart, and you should follow your heart. But that issue is very much subdued. Yeah, thank you. About who? Yes.
So we're driving
No,
out of Hillsborough Beach.
If you take away guns, she wants to take away everyone's gun.
I
If you
forget
take
what
away
the next
guns,
town is.
can't do it.
Yeah, no
Because
taking
people
away
need
guns.
for protection.
That's right.
Now, entertainment they wanted, hunting they wanted, different things. But they need weapons for protection in this country. People live out in the woods and they're not going to have a gun. If you look at it, some countries, I don't want to get them in trouble, but some countries have actually gone the opposite way. They had very strong gun laws, and now they have gone the opposite way, where they allowed people to have guns, where in one case they encouraged people to go out and get guns, and crime is down 29%. And remember this, what is the toughest gun law in the United States? Chicago. On July 4th, 117 people were shot and 17 died. The toughest gun laws in the United States are in the city of Chicago. You know that. They had 117 people shot. Afghanistan does not have that. Afghanistan, by the way, was the lowest point in the history of our country, in my opinion. That was the worst embarrassment to the history of this country, and I say Putin would not have gone into Ukraine if that didn't happen. When he saw the incompetence of Milley and all these guys are incompetent, when he saw that happen, when they took out the soldiers first, they took out the soldiers first. If you go back and check your records, for 18 months, I had a talk with Abdul. Abdul was the leader of the Taliban, still is. But I had a strong talk with him. For 18 months, not one American soldier was shot at or killed, but not even shot at. 18 months, and then we had the disaster of the lift, where people were falling off airplanes from 3 times the height of the World Trade Center. I mean, terrible. But now our country has to be respected again. Please. Go ahead, please. I'd be against that. That Kamala is in favor of not giving Israel weapons? Yeah. That's what I hear. Look, she's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad to Jewish people. And I say it, if anybody I know is Jewish and they would vote for Kamala over me, they should have their head examined. If you think about it, I gave them Golan Heights, I gave them the capital of Israel, Jerusalem, I even built the embassy. I gave them no Iran deal. The problem is they didn't do anything with it.
Got
Iran
some
was
stormy
broke.
weather up
We could have
ahead.
made a deal so easily. I would have had a deal done within 1 week after the election with Iran. Iran can't have a
Check out
nuclear
this
weapon. It's very
house.
simple. We would have gotten along with Iran.
Holy guacamole.
I was looking forward to it. I was fine with Iran. We hit them a couple of times pretty hard, but we would have been fine with Iran. But I terminated that deal. I got them the Abraham Accords.
Lightning.
Everyone said that's impossible. I got them the Abraham Accords. She's been very, very bad to Israel, and she's been very bad and disrespectful to Jewish people. And any Jewish person that votes for Kamala and her new friend, who I don't know if she knew him before, but I don't think he's too good. But anybody that votes for them, if you're Jewish or if you love Israel, you have to have your head examined. Go ahead, please. They have. The FBI came to see me about the shooter. I think they've done a very good job.
Oh, we're
I think
coming
they
up
did
to
a very good job
Hillsborough
with respect
Beach.
to this other lunatic that they have in custody.
This is Hillsborough Inlet. You're in for a treat. Hillsborough Inlet during a storm. You can
Yeah.
see over there the lighthouse.
Well, I know Willie Brown very well. In fact, I went down in a helicopter with him. We thought maybe this is the end. We were in a helicopter going to a certain location together, and there was an emergency landing. This was not a pleasant landing, and Willie was he was a little concerned. So I know him pretty well. I mean, I haven't seen him in years, but he told me terrible things about her. But this is what you're telling me.
Willie
anyway.
Brown.
But he had a big part in what
Spilling the
happened
tea.
with Kamala. But he I don't know, maybe he's changed his tune, but he was not a fan of hers very much at that point.
He was for a while. That's for sure. Funny.
Yeah, I do.
Trump knows Willie Brown.
But
Sorry.
what?
Frog in my throat.
Well, I'm going to announce that. I'm going to actually have a press conference on that at some point in the near future, so I don't want to tell you now.
What
But,
is he gonna announce?
Florida does have a vote coming up on that, and I think probably the vote will go in a little more liberal way than people thought. But I'll be announcing that at the appropriate time. Please.
What? Oh, look at the flag. That's nice.
Yeah. Oh, we gave tremendous for childcare and all of that. No, our tax cuts, which are the biggest in history, our tax cuts are coming due, as you know, very soon. And if the Democrats don't renew them or make it impossible to renew, because it's pretty close in terms of vote, if they don't renew them, it's the equivalent of having a 4 times tax increase from what you have right now, and it'll destroy the economy. I think they're under tremendous pressure to do it. I've never seen, all my life I grow up and I watch politics, and I used to be on the other side of politics for sure. Then I run for office. But in all the years of studying politics, I've never seen people get elected by saying, we're going to give you a tax increase. These guys get up, think of it. We're going to give you no security. We're going to give you a weak military. We're going to give you no walls, no borders, no anything. All these things they're doing. I mean, the transgender became such a big thing. But they do all of these things, but they always say, we're going to give you a tax increase. I never heard anybody campaign on a tax increase. A politician has always said, I will cut taxes. I'll give you one example. Social Security. They're going to destroy Social Security. I am going to leave Social Security. I'm not raising the years. I'm not raising the age. I will be saving Social Security, and I'm going to work it out that there's no tax on Social Security for seniors. I'm also doing no tax on tips. No tax on tips.
Tax on tips.
Waiters, waitresses, caddies, people
Write
that drive
it
cars,
on your
people that
receipts
get tips
anytime
who
you
have been
go
harassed
out.
by this government. We're going to have no tax on tips. It's a big thing.
It is a big thing. You go out, you write it on your receipt, and you pay. So that
Because
your
other
servers
people
who are
that
likely
are
millennials
into
and
things
Gen
that's
Zs,
sure, politically
they
motivated.
need
I
to
think it's
know.
a horrible thing they did. Look, they've weaponized government against me. Look at the Florida case. It was a totally weaponized case. All of these cases, by the way, the New York cases are totally controlled out of the Department of Justice. They sent their top person to the various places. They went to the AG's office, got that one going. Then he went to the DA's office, got that one going.
Well, there's a
ran
pretty
through
big
it.
storm
No,
coming
this
up.
is all politics.
Check it
and
out.
it's a
Wow.
disgrace. Never happened in this
Those
country.
palm trees are
very common
swaying.
that it happens.
Look,
but not
it's
in
gonna
our
rain
country.
hard.
It happens in banana republics and third world countries, and that's what
Here
we're
it comes.
We have no borders.
Holy
we have bad voting
guacamole.
regulations.
Oh, this
Anytime
is
you
a
have
big
mail-in
one.
ballots, you're gonna have problems.
It's a soaker.
France learned that lesson. France had all mail-in voting, and they went
Oh
back
my.
to paper ballots, voter identification, voter ID. They went back to a normal
All right, you
system,
guys.
one-day voting. They don't
I'm
wanna
gonna hang
give
up.
out
I mean,
voting
hang
for
up.
64
I'm gonna say
days.
ciao for now.
Look,
And
the election, I keep
arrivederci.
talking about
Bye.
November 5th, but the election